Hello and welcome to the Funny Robot game. So I guess I can start up without much introduction because there is a cutscene at the start of the run that will give me all the time to pretty much explain all the introductory information. Although, one thing to mention before I start is that, well, the main reason I submitted this exact campaign and not like the whole game or the Decepticon campaign instead of Autobot 1 is besides the fact that I have not learned yet the Decepticon campaign by the time I was submitting, is the fact that this specific run, this specific campaign, it has seen an incredible amount of development throughout the past few months. So, just to put into perspective, like circa January 2023, the world record for it was 1.5 hours. Now it's 56 minutes. And with that, let's begin. 3, 2, 1, go. So we start with this introductory cutscene, after which we have a little bit of downtime to explain some movement shenanigans. Especially since in both runs we start with the most mobile class in the game, being the Scout. Obviously, with this being the Transformers game, you have an alt mode. For the Scout, it's a race car, roughly. Cars in this game have generally two modes. Actually, all the vehicles. You have the hover mode, and you have the drive mode, with increased speed, but a little bit more limited control over your vehicle. In hover, you can dash, and for Scouts, in drive mode, it transforms into a barrel roll. Here we wait a little bit after the gate actually opens, since there is an invisible wall, and there is an invisible wall here until this warship lands. Now we load the checkpoint. This is done so that we load the area we're gonna be dropping into via this skip. The trigger to actually load the area is further on, but if we reach the checkpoint... Oh, that's unfortunate. If we reach the checkpoint and reload it, the area will be loaded in. Anyway, the game just ate my secondary jump input a little bit. It likes to do that a little. Fortunate, but what can you do? And you can see a whole area just pop into reality. Oh, okay. Not outrunning this building. Oh well. Anyway. Next. Next we have a turret section and a driving section. Wouldn't it be cool to actually skip them? Oh. This corridor is actually streaked with invisible hitboxes of the crystals that are about to pop into existence. And yeah, since the area we need to drive into by the end of the highway section is actually below where we start, we can just fly to it. And the funny thing about that skip is that it actually used to crash the game because we used to pick up the checkpoint near the turrets, and that would cause the game to try and deload too much stuff at once. Now that we don't pick it up, it works just fine. Anyway, I just skipped the fight and like a little section of waiting before that fight. It's mostly robot plus car parkour. And we also picked up 2 triggers for this boss fight to actually load in proper and let us proceed. Anyway, here we grab this checkpoint, but we still stay out of bounds because first it deloads the boss area, and secondly, well, it lets us skip the whole highway section because it loads this door, and on the other side of this door there is a checkpoint. Okay, should be fine. And we pretty much skipped like half of the chapter, and this is the first time we shoot at things. Pretty easy boss. And here in this boss fight we can notice one amazing thing about transformation. One of the many amazing things is that transforming actually reloads your weapon you were holding. Be it the weapon you have on your person or the installed one in your vehicle mode. And yeah, we just took advantage of the checkpoint that we received in the elevator. We took advantage of the checkpoint having its respawn zone far beyond said elevator, so we don't need to endure the ride, and we don't need to wait until all the dark energon crystals are eliminated. Yeah, there's a lot in this game. Come on. This little guy just likes to bump me. Okay, let's see if I get the flight of the stairs. No, I don't. Anyway. So, this skip works for weird reasons. First, our vehicle mode allows us to actually drive up this this level geometry, and then there is like a barrier that only blocks your vehicle mode for some reason. And it's done. Yeah, the mad skip indeed. So it only holds the progress of your vehicle mode, so we can just transform because, well, the surface is flat enough for us to not slide off. and we just pass it in our robot mode. Anyway, this is just a waiting section, and I could even avoid actually doing that jump, but it's cool. I could avoid it because I would have to wait anyway, since... Oh, come on. Since the cycle of those energon crates coming up, it's not tied to the checkpoint, actually. Thanks for all the good luck, guys. And, well, we're almost done with the first chapter. So we only have the boss fight left. Anyways, other cool things about transformation is that if you chain your transformation out of double jump, it will give you even more additional height. Anyway, this is a pretty hard boss to do fast, so you'll actually need to keep your angle to be able to hit him. Please don't fly off, please. Okay, it's alright. Thank you, Mr. Starscream. Okay, sideswipe. So, what we just done was break his cycle a little bit. Since he usually flies off the second time, but we out-damage him, basically. And then we manipulate him to not do funny stuff later on. Yeah. So, since this is like a 3-minute cutscene, we can just talk about movement more. So, as you could already see, the barrel rolls are pretty OP in this game, because they both maintain height, they also build speed when performed consecutively. Transformation gives you additional height if you chain it from a jump. There was also that skip that Braden dubbed as the Mad skip, which is basically bouncing in a drive mode, bouncing off really hard off of the level geometry to gain height, and we used that to pick up a checkpoint from outside the tower, and that allowed us to skip like a whole floor. That allowed us to skip a puzzle, sort of puzzle. It allowed us to skip waiting for the energon crate and actually, well, ride in it. And since we reloaded the checkpoint, it has reset the cycle for the energon crates to come up. It's a lot, and it's all in addition to actually skipping the Decagon Plaza fight, and in addition to skipping the interior fight. Yeah, we've cut off so much of this game in very interesting ways. This is one gem of a speedrun, honestly. Even with this cutscene. After all, it allows me to explain all the stuff I could not during all the action in the first chapter of the campaign. Okay, so the reason we chose Sideswipe is because first he can climb walls better, because due to hitbox due to the hitbox of Bumblebee, he gets stuck on vertical walls and cannot quite climb. And second, well, Sideswipe can clip through doors in this chapter. Anyway.
Autobot prisoners have escaped custody. Shoot to kill.
What is this?
Said they were service.
Glad of you to notice.
Now we're talking. I hate sneaking around.
And he can actually clip through most doors. And he can actually clip through doors we were entering during the cutscene. And you can actually go out of bounds. Sadly, it's not really useful.
But to see it?
Anyways. Okay, snipers, thankfully, they didn't bully me too much. They tried to. Anyway, here's the crawler fight. Wouldn't it be great if we could skip it? Oh, come on. Yeah, unfortunate. Is the second time today I got stuck. Yeah, just do like a better. Oh, really? This is probably the easiest skip. Anyway. Okay, so we need to do big. Okay, now we're done. It was a little bit scout, but anyway, we're done with it. It's possible due to Crawler's bottom having an incredibly skewed hitbox, which we can just enter and then traverse through. It skips a fight and it skips some dialogue while we go down. Hey, where are you? Why are you there? The AI in this game is beautiful. And now we wait. If you time your hit on the crystal correctly, the crabs from those crystals, they just won't spawn. And we just wait till the next checkpoint. And yeah, we can exit out of bounds from this area. The problem being the area we get teleported to first, it doesn't spawn until like third wave, aka this wave. And the other problem, it's way further. So we just engage with the combat. Which thankfully is pretty fun. Especially with our ability to transform. And with how honestly overpowered... Come on. With how overpowered the scout machine gun is. Who else is left? Mister, let's be friends. Yeah, right. I forgot. Anyway, we'll be stripped out of our weapons on this teleport, so no point picking up this ammo.
What just happened?
That lousy bucket of bolts cheated.
Yeah, they really committed to the scale of the level. They wanted to show off the Cybertron. And it actually is very interesting how they, how do I say it?
They took our guns.
How they smartly used certain objects to create the illusion of scale. How they
Offense, Optimus, but I don't
used recurrent objects and yeah. if you launch it on like 7th generation console, I believe I believe PS3 and Xbox 360 are 7th generation. So if you launch it on one of those, it will stutter a lot trying to load certain areas.
Unauthorized access to
And yeah,
reinforcements in
transforming out of boost actually gives you some momentum. That technique is called slide, and it is actually kind of useful in combat since you can slide up to an enemy and just punch them in the face. Oh wow. Sort of like this. And of course, Scout's robot form dash helps. Here we dispatch a brood with the MP to the face threat. Where are you guys? Oh, they're done. Anyway. Here we just slip into a hole and skip the third wave, as well as waiting for Optimus to open up the panel. Why didn't we do it earlier? Well, the game doesn't load this area until the third wave in that arena is dispatched. Oh, by the way, remember I told you Sideswipe can clip through doors? Oh god. Please, please. Okay, he's dead and we're right. Thanks, Goose. Alright, this clip was very lucky. Sometimes the game just... Nah. Oh yeah, I went a little too fast, and yeah, just saying, the game tends to teleport you sometimes if it thinks you're not where you're supposed to be during certain checkpoints slash deloads. Anyway, we just clipped through a window, and this clip is kind of specific to soft barriers slash windows. The game. Actually, you can do this section a little faster if you get up top, but let's say that strat is not exactly marathon friendly. Lol. Alright, that was almost scary. I almost committed stupidity. You can just launch yourself up a higher level of the location and cut almost directly to the boss room, which is, well, we're almost done with this chapter as well. By the way, there's a particular reason I picked up this energon rifle, is the reason. Oh god, it's dropping. Unfortunately, I cannot do very much about it.
Operation Annihilation.
Come on, please.
Eject. Operation Disorientation. These little guys are so annoying!
First we crack their shell, then we crack the nuts inside.
Now's our chance! Get him!
Return.
Then all you got.
Activate defense sentries.
Oh well. Is it just... I don't know.
Laser peak. Eject.
Just keeps dropping frames.
He's off the platform.
Anyway, we're done with the chapter. That you cannot skip phases of, because he needs to deploy his cassettes in order, because Soundwave needs to do that. Happened, but we should be alright now.
You can find a way to weaken their power grid. I might be able to get in.
And yeah, I kinda shut down my Chrome, so I won't be seeing the chat for now.
There. Blast the power cells.
For the dialogue to come by, we grab ourselves.
Cancel the lockdown.
Please, okay, it's alive.
We've got
We grab some grenades for the boss. And we dispatch cloakers. That was easy enough.
there. Unlock the security
grab the health before we enter.
He's one of the toughest Autobots that ever lived, kid. You bet it takes all.
And
Omega restraint is offline.
Great work. Just one more to go.
please don't bully me. Don't bully me way too hard. Here, instead of taking the in the run, probably. It saves like 7 to 8 minutes. We skip this entire fight. First we align our with this level geometry, and then we again the wall. The game will recognize it as terrain to jump off of, and this way we can just yeet out of the arena and skip the entire Mega Supreme Defense section, which would last roughly 8 minutes
You never seen a space
under different circumstances.
Cybertron's natural defenses. They'll eat away at the Dark Energon's corruption.
This area is just a little too closed off,
Let me give it a try.
but we got another skip coming up.
Something's not right. What is it, Ironhide?
Here we first need to trigger the crystals behind us to pop up, and we got the warpath line. That means we're alright and we can do the skip without fear that we'll get teleported back. Okay, this wall is actually pretty difficult to align with for the climb, but we should be alright here. Now we drop down, and oh look, the shaft that we need to drop into, it has a hole. No way. And we can drop down all the way to the checkpoint.
It's a dead end.
Anyway, let's grab our overshield for the section and wait for the slugs cutscene. Right now it's an auto-scroller section with nothing much to do. I actually attempted to skip it. I actually managed to load the area we're entering right now, and I actually managed to get out of bounds. But unfortunately, it seems as if all the triggers in this section are actually tied to the slugs themselves. So we just do it as is.
This place is crawling with Decepticons.
Thankfully, neither the cutscene in the prison, 30-minute cutscene where I was explaining stuff from the chapter previous, neither that cutscene nor this auto-scroller shooter section, they don't really slow down the pace of the run all that much. Since right before and, well, spoiler, right after, we get some very good action. Remember to keep hydrated, guys. Okay, so this section is an auto-scroller, right? But this one... Okay, so checkpoint, lag, deload. Anyway, this section is actually kind of dependent on how fast you dispatch the seekers.
Did you see that?
How could I not see it?
So here's this corrupted worm we'll be fighting at the end of the chapter. And I don't know if it's just me, but every time I hear that worm screech, it sounds like "ree" to me. I don't know. My brain is probably rotten after all the internet interactions I've had in the past 5 years. Again, we dispatch the seekers as fast as possible, since it's what progress of this section is actually timed to. Okay, I think it's 2 more. 1, 2, and he's done. And we have 2 more sections of the auto-scroller to get by. Fortunately, they are mercifully short. Drop him down. Oh my god, is that Metal Gear Rising Revengeance R2? I don't remember. Is Monsoon R3 or R2? Anyway, I haven't played that one in ages. And we should be getting ready to do the floodgate skip. Actually, before that 7-minute skip of the fight with Omega Supreme was implemented. Before that, Optimus was used in this chapter, and in the floodgate section, the characters get separated and they get spawned in completely different parts of the location. And well, Warpath, the character we're using now, he just so happens to end up in the closest proximity to the spot where we need to proceed. Let me show what I mean. Okay, so
Where I am.
I don't see either of you.
okay,
Or
let's
the slug
grab
was right. We need to regroup. Move forward.
ammo.
Stay in contact.
Okay, don't fall down.
See you from my platform.
Let's go.
There's a release
Yeah,
block in the way.
we just completely skip everything. And for Optimus in particular, this skip is quite a bit lengthier. Now we just wait through the elevator ride.
You all right, Optimus? These are sacred grounds, Ironhide. The core provides energon and life to all of Cybertron. It pains me to see it defiled this way.
Alright. So this section is just a little more movement and a little bit of utilizing the slide mechanic. Okay, so we destroy that thing, we jump on the platform, and just slide into a double jump.
By the way, Optimus, it's nice to see you step
Single
up.
jump,
I
Well, I could not carry the momentum into the double jump, unfortunately. Anyway, it should be fine. So here we enter the boss area. This boss fight is pretty simple. More or less just dodging its attack
My shots are just bouncing.
and then damaging it during the window it offers us. Okay, so I evaded the stun from the ground slam. Yeah, we're fine. We're gaming. So it won't troll us with additional phase.
It's running scared. I don't think so.
Right. Drop your crabs. One. Fortunate. I wasn't able to dispatch the first batch of crabs fast enough so that the game would proceed and give me the checkpoint right away. If you just kill the first two spawns very quickly, you can insta-trigger checkpoint. And we reload this checkpoint right here so that we don't need to wait for the boss to come down from the core to us. Okay, let's drop down so I don't actually get killed by the laser. Oh, and I need to destroy its claws again. I guess they respawn when you reload the checkpoint. Funny game. Anyway, another batch of crabs. We shouldn't be too concerned with dispatching them very fast because we still need to wait for the boss to come down. And well, there is no checkpoint to reload for us to transition straight to the combat again. So yeah, we just wait out and damage him till it dies. Okay. Again, we avoid the stun lock, avoid the laser. Standard fare. And after that, we'll be on to one of the most broken chapters in the entire game. That until January 2023, it used to be glitchless, pretty much. But now it's one of the most broken chapters in the entire game. You'll see why.
Did it. Nice job, Autobots.
Okay. So select our boy Silverbolt. Okay. First is flying section through the debris, through the mines, etc. Nothing special. And it's actually pretty atmospheric if you let the initial cutscene play, where it transitions directly into the gameplay, and it's very cool when you play it with OST. I chose to not play the soundtrack in this run though. Just personal preference for showcases. Anyway, looky. Here's a fight. And there's supposed to be a boss fight after dispatching those seekers. Right?
Terrific.
Right.
Here comes the welcoming committee.
Hey guys, did you know that the barriers that are supposed to push your character away, did you know that the barriers like these are extremely reliable? So reliable in fact that boost into barrel roll just completely ignores them. And yeah, this is probably my favorite part about the skip, that the cutscene just happens in a deloaded space. Right, so this particular clip is the reason why we picked Silverbolt. Of course, Jetfire can do this particular clip as well through the floor, but it's quite a bit harder. Okay, let's see. Oh, I got very lucky with the weapon for this fight and, well, for the rest of the chapter. So we prepare for the first wave, we deploy those mines,
Got to stop this madness.
and grab them again.
I wear the Autobot insignia with pride, Megatron.
Okay, we should be fine. Okay. Okay. The one annoying thing about the enemies in this game is that they get iframes. Damn it. Whenever they transform, they get iframes. Right. Could be all. Who else? Who else, guys? Guys, let's be friends. Okay. This fight definitely isn't going super well. And yeah, the reason we reloaded the checkpoint was to respawn the mines. Right, please. Okay. So we pick the machine gun from this brute and dispatch the shield brute with it. Now we dispatch this guy,
Quickly, drain the coolant.
get the ammo for the later part of the chapter, and we're done with this fight. A little bit unfortunate down the middle, but otherwise pretty solid. And we're set for the rest of the chapter, actually.
That would definitely finish it off. Well then, lead the way.
The reason we cannot skip this fight is because any checkpoint and load that would get us into get us to progress through the chapter, load vital parts of the location, they're all tied to the button in that tube, and so far no one has found a way to enter that tube prematurely. So there's that. Anyway, we just took this checkpoint with the button to load this part of the location, and we skip a traversal section and a couple of very annoying fights.
The nerve center is just ahead.
Reload the checkpoint.
The nerve center is just ahead. All right, we're here. What now, Jetfire? We need to overload the beam's pulse regulator. Hit those switches on the far panel. Time to fly.
Alright. First button. What is he doing? Can anyone tell me?
Danger. Plasma approaching critical level.
Pulse regulator! Decepticons incoming! Hold them up! We have to
Anyway,
use plasma time to overload!
those seekers we can ignore.
Danger. Plasma level
And now the progress of this section is actually tied to how fast we dispatch the approaching Decepticons. We need to pay special attention to the snipers because they can just outright murder us.
danger. Plasma level at 100%.
Come on! Overload already! No need to rush on my account. I like
Right?
Decepticons. Every nanoquick longer means more Autobot deaths. Hold your ground. Here comes another wave.
Okay.
Danger. Plasma level at
Now we leave the turret and actually
Goes that high? No, that's the point.
actually pick up another overshield. We're gonna need it, trust me. Anyway, here's another skip.
What just happened?
We skip a fight like that, and it's just cool to look at.
Did you not account for backup systems at all?
Well, there's like a push barrier first, and then an actual like kill trigger all around this tube we're supposed to fly through.
Autobots, full thrust.
But the developers just, they forgore.
From the inside.
They forgore and they left an entire hole in both of them. So we can just fly like that. I'm barrel rolling so I don't get pulled in by the barrier. It actually happened to me on one of the runs, and well, since near the barrier that pulls you in there's a kill trigger, you can safely assume what happened. Now we fly a little higher so that we avoid another push barrier near Triptychon's mouth, and we should be fine now. Yeah, we should be fine. And now we should go a little lower for the barrier to actually give us acceleration further.
We're inside the gun now, Optimus. We'll disable it ASAP.
Right, another unskippable fight due to how the area loads.
Just keep
It's funny. If you like try and fly out of bounds there, it's funny.
that laughter. Silverbolt, we're taking a pounding down here. Get that gun offline.
Okay, first one. Hey, mister, wanna be friends? I'm sure you wanna be. Come on. We dispatched those brutes simply to pick up the miniguns and destroy the destroyers. And yeah, we've already spent our overshield, so picking it up during unskippable dialogue before the cutscene, it was more than warranted. Usually on the PB pace,
This looks like a vapor context
oops.
trigger. Keep going. Look out.
Okay,
Let those mashers catch you.
well, let's just take it safely. Usually on the PB pace, on that fight, I just say to myself, just don't die, don't die. It's that simple, is it? And it usually is, honestly. Anyway, there's actually another skip coming up.
Did you hear that? One direct hit and
They forgot to add collision to that panel.
must have a conversion cog.
And yeah, so we can skip the flight through the danger zone, and we skip the conversion cog fight. Skip dispatching turrets and such, and fly directly into the cutscene.
What's it gonna take with this guy?
It actually used to be even funnier back then, because we used to fly into conversion cog room, and I initially theorized that the cutscene trigger was here, which I was proven correct in the end. And well, we just found out that developers simply forgot that there's like a hole underneath the glass there. It was just so hilarious to witness. And yeah, here I actually attempt to get close to Triptychon, because with those rockets, I don't know, this may still be a placebo. With those rockets, Triptychon tends to cycle through his attacks faster if you're closer to him. Okay, it's the last phase, and we're pretty much done with the chapter. We just wait for him to cycle through his last barrage of attacks, and wait for him to fall down to the Cybertron, where we'll be finishing him off in the final chapter. Veer off, let the gravity do the rest. And of course, there's one last skip in that beautiful last chapter.
This is Optimus. We pinpointed the crash site and are moving in for a visual. I want you on standby in case there's any trouble.
Roger that, Optimus. We're jetting your way, but it'll take us some time to reach you. You think that hunk of
Okay.
junk could survive a crash from orbit? Triptychon is as tough as they come.
Those tubes were supposed to be moving,
Thanks for the tips.
and it was supposed to be like a tense fight, but we completely skipped that phase.
Attack. Be ready for anything.
Cannot escape from me.
And we transition straight to the next one. Here it's pretty simple, we just avoid his attacks and deal damage when he opens up. This is the second of the three phases. Okay, so he launches the thing, we can cheese it just like that. He can do anything, and now he opens it up.
What's happening to his sides? They're changing.
He's still got the same problem. Too much heat buildup.
Not very fast.
That looked really painful.
Usually I'd land more shots from the vehicle mode. By the way, that's another chapter where we switch from Optimus to another character. It's just because the machine guns on the Scout, they slay that much. Okay. Second part of the second phase done. And here we reload the checkpoint so that we don't softlock. And well, if we attempted to reload checkpoint after skipping the cutscene, the game would simply crash. Okay, which is another sequence of attacks. We destroy those turrets so they don't interrupt us way too much. Okay.
I'll be ready again in due. It's working.
Right, first power core, second power core, and when I destroy the third one, it will be time. In game, please. And time. So here we go. That's the Autobot campaign. I hope you stayed entertained throughout. Apologies for those technical difficulties just happening. And yeah, thank you for GG's. And a small question for the hosts. Do we have a little bit of time to just watch the titles, the credits? Because they're pretty amazing.
Autobots, roll out.
Before I leave it to the next runner. Alright. So that's our payoff.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise.
Mind you, this song is not heavily copyrighted, so there's that. At the very least, from what I've seen on YouTube, on the uploads of it. Wow! No way! 58 minutes. No way! I just realized the final time. Pretty surprising considering the amount of mistakes, but then... yeah. By the way, the Decepticon campaign is, well, it's just as amazing. It also has amazing skips, and you actually play almost all the chapters as a scout, and there's a lot of fun skips there. So maybe someday I showcase it as well. Loads, there are only like 30 seconds of them, so it's alright. Yeah, Bumblebee has a lot of free space inside him. Alright, so there's that. Thank you so very much for having me. And I want to shout out the entire War for Cybertron speedrunning community. I want to shout out Braden, who's right here in the chat. I want to shout out Matt, not to be confused with Matt, since there's like two A's in the first Matt in this person's nickname. I want to shout out Casey, Ron Givolta, Will Treaty for specifically making the auto splitter for this game. I want to shout them all out for helping with discovering all the new skips, helping lab this game and completely obliterate it. Yeah. Amazing people, amazing community, amazing run. Thank you again for having me. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And yeah, see you all.